Hi, if you're anything like me, then you really want more control of the chaos in your life, right? I struggled through a lot of stuff, trauma stuff and relationship stuff and addiction stuff. And after getting through a lot, I learned about this thing that I found so helpful. And I use it in my work and suicide prevention. It really helps me understand how people are being let down by the systems around them, family systems, institutions, medical systems, education systems, whatever, and really identify and articulate what it is that might be an impactful, meaningful support. Okay, so it's called the biopsychosocial model. I won't be looking at it today from a suicide prevention angle. I'll be looking at it more from just a general kind of well-being angle, right? So let's dive into it. So, suicide prevention, biopsychosocial. Basically, there's three aspects to your life. There's three angles of how you can consider all the different main systems in your life. Okay, it's biological, psychological, and socio-environmental. They all play an important part of who you are, and they have supports and risks. So, for example, you could have youth as a support factor if you have a heart condition. Maybe the fact that you're young, it's like, well, it's a good thing at the moment that you're young. Later on, at some point, you're going to have to get surgery or whatever. It's different for everybody. Everyone's whole map is totally unique. And I think there's a bit of I'm not going to rant about it, but yeah, I'll just leave that alone. So, each different factor actually impacts other factors. Okay, your race, your genetics, your microbiome in your guts, your skin. Yeah, you might have skin conditions. All of these types of things impact other things, which is pretty obvious. But they also impact other things on other layers and other levels. Okay, so your physiological stuff impacts your psychological stuff, and vice versa. So, and that stuff impacts your socio-environmental stuff. Maybe you get bullied for having eczema or red hair or brown skin, or maybe you're not listened to because you don't have testicles, or whatever. They all impact one another. So it's the whole picture that's really important. It's the entire picture that's really important, and probably going to repeat that over and over again. Now, as someone who works in suicide prevention, I'm obviously very interested when the gaps line up. It can be a big problem because something can go awfully wrong, right? So it's really important to kind of look at each individual and look at their individual layers of what kind of systems do they have around them and what kind of needs do they have specific only to them. I think it can be very easy for people to just get a pill. It's like, here, this will solve it. But it's like, okay, it might solve that one part of that biological aspect of this, but what about the social and the psychological and the emotional aspects? Like the pill is good for a little bit, but there's more stuff to be done. So what's really important, and what was important for me especially, is finding the action that I can take. Okay, so what that looked like for me is that I really struggled to open up. I struggled to be vulnerable and real, something that I still actually have a hard time with, if I'm going to be actual about it. So I needed to learn how to find the words. Okay, I struggled to open up, so I journaled a lot. I've got a lot of journals floating around, that are full. And I wrote a lot of that stuff out, and that really helped me find, and it was uncomfortable at first. It was very uncomfortable to write. It's kind of like taking the clothes off your thoughts, and you get to really see them. You get to really be with them in that discomfort. And in that space, it reveals a lot. If you can sit in that discomfort, it reveals a lot. So maybe journaling is not the action that you can take, because actually that discomfort is too much to handle, in which case what could help, maybe finding the action that you can take is instead using a voice recorder. Okay, or one thing that a friend of mine suggested was she found it really helpful. Before she committed her pen to the page to write down her thoughts, she committed to burning the page when she was done writing. So what that meant was she really struggled to actually put the pen to the page until she knew it was going to be burned after. And then all of a sudden she could actually just get her thoughts out, right? Which is like really tricky. It's a really smart way of doing it. So find the action that you can take. And remember, someone might give you some advice, or someone like what I've just given you. It might not be right for you because of the specifics of your biopsychosocial map, right? And you're the best person on earth who can know that. If you can take the step, find that step that you can take, then it's basically like plugging the gap. So each person is totally unique, but unfortunately, most people don't really have a good map because I don't know why, actually. Why is the world that way? I don't know. It's like, seems wasteful or something. When you know yourself really well, it means that you can better advocate for your needs and get better supports in place that actually fit you, right? That are right just for you. That's basically my obsession now. As I said, I've come through a bunch of stuff myself, and now I write a lot. I had a blog called Said With Courage. I've got an email list where I send out one email every week, and it's basically like a journey. No matter when you start, no matter when you sort of sign up, you start right at the front, and everything has been sort of selected and written so that it takes you on this journey to help hopefully uncover and invite courage, right? To invite more courage into your life. It's called saidwithcourage.com. That's my blog. And yeah, it's basically my mission to help you grow self-awareness and identify and articulate what are those supports that you're going to be able to put in place. There's lots of steps involved in that. And that's why there's a whole website and videos and all these sorts of things. So yeah, what do you want to know? Like, I'm curious, what is it that you actually, how do you want to see this biopsychosocial thing applied? As I said, I think about it more from a suicide prevention lens, and I'm thinking it might be cool to do profiles of people, like a profile of a specific individual, maybe just made up or maybe real, but I could profile myself, for example, to show where interventions would be very effective at specific points in time, because that's an important thing too to consider, is that if you're looking at the biopsychosocial map, they're sort of snapshots, right? If you were to have a really clear picture of a map when you were 13 years old, it would be very different from when you're 13 and a half years old, right? You've changed a lot, probably. Maybe your environment has changed a lot. Maybe you've moved to school or something like that. Versus fast forward another 10 years and you've had a kid of your own. This map will change and shift as you change and shift and your environment changes around you. So yeah, it's my mission to help you basically navigate that. I hope this was helpful. Let me know if it was, let me know if it wasn't. Peace.